Drug abuse is rampant in Nigeria, with a drug survey conducted by United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes putting the prevalence of substance use for Nigerian youths at 15% between the ages of 15 and 64. In the survey, Kwara State reportedly has the highest usage and abuse in the North Central, with 1 out of 6 youths addicted due to availability, affordability and accessibility.
The youths are the most vulnerable. They are the ones that actually are more exposed. They are more exposed to the risk factors, and they have less of the protective factors in the system these days. I will talk about that. But the usage of drug or illicit drugs cut across all spectrum of life, irrespective of the age and the gender.
This epidemic has lots of effects both on the user, the parents and the society at large. This medical doctor traces the influx to peer influence and pressure, as some also use it unknowingly.
For some reasons, some people are at increased risks of using drugs. Maybe because somebody in the family uses drugs, somebody in the lineage uses drugs. That shows, the implication of this is that there is a genetic factor. I'm not saying that because your father or your mother or your sibling uses drug, you must use, but there is a chance, increased risks, of you also using drug, because some genetic components eventually, play part in this. So that's like a risk factor.
Many believe the parents also have a role to play in ensuring that their wards do not fall into bad company.
You talk about poor parenting these days. Though drug use is not a moral issue, you might not term it as a failure in terms of parents, but when there is no adequate and purposeful parenting, positive parenting, the question we always ask, do you know the friends your kids moves with?
The Kwara State government is putting in efforts to correct the situation with the setting up of a committee to enlighten the youths and implementations of programs and projects to cater for the youths.
Part of the things that we've seen is that there's not so much activity for the youth. That's why they have it, and you say the idle's hand is the devil's workshop. So of course, because of this non-activity, people tend to gather in clusters and they are introduced to all sorts of things. So one thing that His Excellency has been able to do is to now create different kinds of, job opportunities. He's opening up the Innovation Hub. He's opening up a visual art center. He's opening up a sugar cane factory. These are the things that the young people can put their creative activity into play. And when you have this thing done, they have less dependence on drugs.
In all, it is expected that all stakeholders will collaborate to fight the drug abuse menace, especially among the youth, in order to safeguard the future of the country's future leaders.